In this lecture, we're going to be talking about an anxiety. The purpose is for you to understand the fundamentals of an anxiety, know the different types of an anxiety out there, and how it basically forms and develops in our system. There are a lot of external factors and internal factors that can cause an exponential, unstable increase in cortisol levels, which leads us, in the first step, to stress. Stress, over time, develops into an anxiety. Genetics can also be one of the factors that influence and cause our anxiety. Personal experiences, when on a recurrent basis cause a lot of stress, can turn into an anxiety, and traumatic experiences that had a huge impact on us can also cause an anxiety, and can elaborate and engrave this issue through the brain rewiring systems. Now, there are 5 different types of anxiety that you need to be aware of. First, the general anxiety disorder. It is reflected upon chronic and excessive anxiety, exaggerated worrying and tension, whether on a psychological or physical level, and it can even be caused without any external or internal factors influencing or triggering it. Social anxiety disorder, also known as dissocial phobia, is, as the name states, an anxiety caused in social situations. It is this kind of disorder where we feel overwhelmed and excessive self-consciousness in different social situations that we experience. It can be different for a lot of people. Some people, for example, if they are overweight, they feel anxious in social situations where they have to take off their shirts. And some people can develop severe social anxiety where they feel anxious just by being around people. A lot of people would also have a hard time, for example, eating in front of others. They might feel really anxious and they feel this social anxiety when they eat in front of other people. These are all different factors involved in the social anxiety disorder. Post-traumatic stress disorder, also known as PTSD, is also an anxiety disorder that is usually developed after we experience a terrifying traumatic event or experience which leaves a huge psychological or physical mark on us. These are experiences usually charged with high emotional discharge, which can immediately develop into an anxiety. Panic disorder is usually more on a physical level. When we experience any kind of an anxiety, if it's repeated and if it's exaggerated, it could turn into physical symptoms where we feel like we're panicking and we do not have control over our physical sense. We might feel that we're short on breath, we might feel dizzy, we might feel like we're about to pass out, we feel that our heart is palpitating in an unusual way, which leaves us feeling more anxious and gets us into this panic and anxiety. And lastly, OCD, or obsessive compulsive disorder. I'm not going to go a lot in details into it, as we're going to talk more about it in other lectures, but it's basically based on obsessions or compulsions that we face on a daily basis. It can be an obsession about perfectionism, where you need everything to be in order. If your phone is a bit tilted, you need to shift it back, otherwise you can't focus. You're obsessed about it because you're so focused on everything being perfect. It can also be a compulsion of a repeated behavior that you keep on doing and that you cannot stop doing.